Have you ever imagined an 82-year-old grandpa secretly hiding things from a family while proposing with a ring on a YouTube live stream? Yeah, me neither, until that barbecue afternoon when my grandpa casually announced, "I'm getting married to an online fortune teller named Starla." It was the 4th of July, scorching hot like the sun had a personal grudge, and my whole family was struggling to set up a discounted canvas tent from Walmart that nobody really knew how to assemble. The backyard air at Aunt Patty's smelled like a bizarre cocktail of barbecue smoke and citronella spray, somewhere between grilled ribs and a pharmacy. Everyone was there. The crypto-obsessed cousins who'd never actually bought a coin, Uncle Rick in his signature Make America Grill Again tank top, like it was the official family uniform. And in the middle of this chaos sat my grandpa, Robert, lounging like royalty on a folding chair, Dr. Pepper in hand, feet propped on the cooler, watching us battle skewers like he was surveying his kingdom. My grandpa's the kind of man everyone assumed was settled, maybe even stubborn in a charming, old-school way. Silver hair, khaki pants, neatly tucked-in pinstripe shirt. Even during his afternoon naps, every morning, he'd power walk around the neighborhood with a pair of sunglasses that covered half his face, a cassette Walkman blasting Elvis Presley, muttering under his breath about kids these days glued to their green juice and tiny screens. No one, absolutely no one, in the family thought he had any surprises left in him until he stood up, tapped a plastic spoon on his solo cup, and cleared his throat with the formality of a professor about to read his will. You know that moment when a single sentence can stretch time. He said, "I have something to announce." The entire backyard fell silent. The mini fan blowing air into a toddler's face stopped spinning. Even Aunt Patty's dog looked up like it had just heard a knock from the afterlife. In those 3 seconds, 1,000 disaster scenarios ran through my head. He's sick. He's moving to a nursing home. He's selling the house with the grandkid height marks on the kitchen wall. No one, and I mean no one, was ready for what came next. There he stood, gripping a flimsy red solo cup like it was a Declaration of Independence, face deadly serious. His eyes swept across the backyard, scanning his offspring and grandkids as if trying to determine who was emotionally prepared for a Category 5 announcement. The silence was so thick, I swear I heard a slice of garlic bread slide off my cousin's paper plate and land on his Crocs with the weight of destiny. Then he said, in the crisp tone of a Cold War radio announcer, "I'm getting married. Next month." 4 words. Enough to blow up every fishing trip, every casino plan, and a collective family fantasy of peaceful old man living out his golden years with crossword puzzles and decaf. The first reaction came from Aunt Patty, our self-declared voice of reason, who also firmly believes her coffee maker is spying on her. She choked mid-bite on her burger, half coughing, half screaming. Married to who? Meanwhile, my dad, who's been divorced twice, just stared into the distance like he was watching a slow-mo replay of all his failed relationships, then whispered, maybe he knows something I don't. And me? I sat frozen, trying to process how a man who once used a TV remote to try calling Pizza Hut could possibly organize a wedding. But it gets better. When someone finally asked, "Who is she?" Grandpa didn't flinch. He smiled, like a priest about to deliver Sunday sermon, and said, "Her name is Starla. She's a spiritual healer. We met on YouTube." A glass hit the patio. I think it was my mom's. And Aunt Patty's dog started barking like it had just sensed a rift in the space-time continuum. Starla? A spiritual healer? On YouTube? And here comes the soft twist. He didn't just meet Starla on YouTube. He left a comment under one of her videos. And I swear I am not making this up. The video was titled, "How to Purge Toxic Masculine Energy Using Moonwater Hair Rinses." And Grandpa's comment, "I am toxic masculine energy." 3 words. Next thing he knew, she DM'd him. At first, we all thought Grandpa was joking. I mean, this is the same man who once convinced my little cousin that the moon landing was staged just so he wouldn't have to explain gravity. But nope, he was dead serious. He pulled out his flip phone, yes, a flip phone, and showed us a grainy photo of a woman wearing a flowing purple shawl, sitting in front of a bookshelf full of crystals, incense sticks, and what looked like a taxidermied squirrel holding a tarot card. "That's Starla," he said proudly. "She's a healing energy. I can feel it through the screen." No one knew how to respond. My uncle tried to say something, but ended up just blinking a lot. My mom looked like she was trying to calculate Starla's age in her head and failing. And me? I sat there sipping a lukewarm beer, trying to mentally process the fact that my 82-year-old grandfather had just dropped a girlfriend reveal like he was on The Bachelor. Then came the emails. Apparently, Grandpa had been writing back and forth with Starla for over 6 months. He had a Yahoo email account, which in itself is a red flag, and signed off every message with Robert H., retired, God-fearing barbecue enthusiast. They didn't just talk about weather or aches and pains. They went deep. Starla wrote about her past life memories as a Viking herbalist. Grandpa replied with stories about being stationed in Germany and how he once ate a raw onion just to win a bet. Somehow it worked. She called him my grounded thunder, and he called her my cosmic bloom. And then came the twist. He sent her money, not because she asked for it. No scammy please, no fake emergencies. No, he volunteered for $1,000 to help her upgrade her sacred content production studio. When I asked why, he shrugged and said, "She said my aura was ancient and needed to be seen in higher resolution." You know what's worse than hearing your grandpa say the word aura? Hearing him say it with a straight face while holding a checkbook. That night, the family group chat exploded. I hadn't seen that many unread messages since Aunt Patty posted a photo of her new boyfriend, who turned out to be a wax statue from Madame Tussauds. People were panicking. My cousin Jenny, who works in IT, started digging up Starla's digital footprint like she was with the FBI. Turns out Starla had a YouTube channel called Vibe Ascension with Starla, with videos titled How to Telepathically Communicate with Your Houseplants and Foods That Block Your Third Eye. Avoid pasta. Jenny sent the link. We watched in silence. Starla sat cross-legged on a rug that looked suspiciously like a dog blanket, surrounded by flickering candles and a Himalayan salt lamp that pulsed like a lava monster. Her voice? Soft and breathy, like she was permanently in ASMR mode. At one point, she stared directly into the camera and whispered, "Your ancestors are tired of your gluten choices." I nearly spit out my drink, but Grandpa, he subscribed, turned on notifications, started calling her videos medicine for the soul, and worst of all, he bought a ring light. Yes, you heard me. This man, who once duct taped a flashlight to his forehead because headlamps are for hippies, ordered a proper LED ring light from Amazon. And he didn't stop there. He made a channel. Robert Speaks, Veteran Vibes. First video, a reaction to Starla's moon ceremony livestream. The thumbnail was him in his recliner, holding a crystal in one hand and a can of root beer in the other. The title, Can an Old Man Be Enlightened? Let's find out. And here's the kicker. His video got more views than hers. The comment section was wild. People were calling him Grandpa Zen, asking for merch, even suggesting he do collabs with astrology TikTokers. I don't know what's more terrifying, that he went viral or that he knew what viral meant. Twist? He told us he's already booked a joint live stream with Starla next full moon. The topic? Twin flames after 80. Why love has no expiration date. You could hear half the family collectively reconsidering reality in that moment. We ended up flying to Arizona. Yep, Grandpa invited the whole family to his wedding in Sedona during the full moon at a venue called the Spiral Sanctuary. None of us knew what that meant. Turns out it was a literal corn maze, hand-planted in the shape of a sacred mandala. The invitation said, dress in linen or light cotton, shoes optional, no negative energy allowed past the gate. My dad brought Crocs. Aunt Patty brought holy water. The moment we got there, we knew we were in a different dimension. There were people with names like Eagle Whisper and Quartzia. Someone offered us solar-infused mushroom tea that smelled like regret. A guy with a man bun and no shirt tried to read my aura by staring at my kneecaps. Meanwhile, Grandpa walked in like he was Elvis Reborn in Whole Foods. White linen pants, beaded necklace, and I'm not kidding, a henna tattoo that said, "Unblock me, universe." The ceremony was Something. Starla walked down the corn path barefoot, holding a singing bowl. Grandpa stood waiting next to the stone circle, and a guy named Dave who called himself a freelance shaman. During the vows, Starla promised to protect his root chakra and align his destiny grid. Grandpa, in return, promised to eat less pork and consider past lives before starting arguments. And then came the part none of us were ready for, the shared spirit dance. Suddenly tribal drums started, and they both broke into slow-motion interpretive moves. Grandpa waved his arms like he was swatting invisible bees. Starla spun in circles and then collapsed dramatically into a pile of sage leaves. The officiant shouted, "The bond is sealed," and released a live hawk into the sky. Everyone clapped. No one understood what just happened. Twist? That hawk was trained. Turns out Grandpa paid extra for the bird to fly out a hidden cage at the moment of energetic climax. It cost him $900. He said, "You only get married to your twin flame once." I turned to my cousin and whispered, "You sure about that?" 2 weeks after the wedding, everything went surprisingly quiet. No weird energy surges. No surprise sage deliveries. No hawks circling over our backyard like Grandpa had summoned a new religion. It was almost disappointing, to be honest. You'd expect a cosmic couple like Robert and Starla to make headlines or at least start a podcast called Love Beyond the Lifespan. But nope, silence. Until the call. I was making coffee when Grandpa rang. First of all, he never calls. He but dials. So when his name popped up intentionally, I answered with that gut level "oh" already forming in my stomach. "Hey kid," he said, "need a favor. Don't tell your mom." Red flag number 1. Turns out Grandpa and Starla were taking a break, but not a breakup. Oh no, Starla had flown to Peru for personal recalibration. She apparently needed to realign her soul GPS at the base of Machu Picchu. What about the honeymoon? I asked, genuinely confused. "Oh," Grandpa said. She took it alone. Called it a solo merge of the Earth grid. Said I'd just mess up the frequency. Right. At this point, I was fully expecting a divorce announcement. Or maybe that he'd accidentally joined a cult. But Grandpa surprised me. He wasn't mad. In fact, he sounded peaceful. "I think I just needed to feel alive again," he said. "Your grandma's been gone a long time. I wasn't looking to replace her. I just wanted something to shake the dust off the edges, you know?" I sat down. That hit harder than I expected. This man, who had spent decades mowing the lawn in silence and eating frozen pot pies alone, had thrown himself into the weirdest, wildest chapter of his life. And not to impress anyone. Not even for love. Maybe just for the reminder that he could still do something completely stupid and not die from it. And then came the twist. The real reason he called? He needed help setting up a PayPal account. "I'm launching a course," he said. "It's called Spiritual Resilience for Men Over 80. Starla told me to monetize my story. Said I have authentic elder vibes." You know what? I helped him set it up, because here's what I realized. Grandpa didn't lose his mind. He expanded it in the weirdest way imaginable. And maybe the point of growing old isn't to become wise or dignified. Maybe it's just to stay curious. Even if that curiosity leads you into a corn maze with a barefoot woman named Starla and a $900 hawk. So, yeah, if you're ever wondering whether to chase something wild and totally out of character, remember this. My 82-year-old grandpa joined YouTube, married a chakra healer, danced with birds, and ended up teaching online classes to retired firemen about inner peace. And honestly, he might be the most evolved person I know. ChatGPT to NOI. The meaning of this story isn't really about an 82-year-old man marrying a YouTube spiritual healer. It's about this. Life never truly ends unless you stop being curious. At any age, we still have the right to start over, to fall in love like fools, to do things no one else understands, as long as it makes us feel truly alive. Sometimes, what we need isn't a reason. It's just that little spark that kicks our heart back into rhythm. And if my grandpa can find freedom in a ring light and a soul-dancing live stream, then maybe, just maybe, any of us can. Thank you for sticking around until the very last second of the story. If you ever had a family member do something that left everyone speechless, or if you have ever stepped into a new chapter of life that no one else could quite understand, feel free to share it in the comments below. And if you have a story that's wild, moving, or just plain weird, don't be shy. Who knows? Your story might be exactly what someone out there needs to hear right now. If you found this content worthwhile, please support the channel by hitting like, subscribe, and turning on the notification bell so you won't miss the next brain-twisting ride with me.